Good night, everyone. My name is Devon Thompson. I'm one of three vice presidents for the United Independence Congress. Later this evening, the president of the United Independence Congress will come online and he'll make a presentation, a public address to the people of Jamaica in regards to the pandemic that is now sieging the people of Jamaica. So, we're building the audience, and I urge you guys to stay online. When the president of the United Independence Congress comes online, then we can have a discussion about the plans that the UIC plans to release. But until then, I'd like to talk about what we've been seeing recently in the media. We've been seeing images and reports of people dying from COVID-19. We're seeing images of and reports of there being a lack of oxygen in our hospitals. We're seeing where people are suffering not just because of COVID-19, but because of a negligent government, because of bad governance. So many people, they make the mistake of simply blaming a pandemic for the problems that we're now facing. So the president of the United Independence Congress will be coming on shortly to introduce to you guys the UIC's 5-point pandemic plan, which we are asking the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Government of Jamaica, to adopt. But until then, I'll be taking any questions that you might have. So if you're tuning in from Instagram, if you're tuning in from YouTube, if you're tuning in from Facebook, or if you're tuning in from Twitter, welcome. And we're happy to have you here. So let's wait a bit until we get some more people online. And for those who don't know me or know my name is Devon Thompson. I'm one of three vice presidents for the United Independence Congress, and I manage the marketing aspect of the UIC's organization. And just to give you a quick reminder about the UIC's Walk for Liberty, which is actually going to be taking place this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. in Mapen. And we Walk for Liberty not just simply because we believe that our liberties or our freedoms are at risk. We walk for liberty to give justice to the people who have been negatively affected by this by negligent actions of the government of Jamaica. So for those who are just coming on, the president of the UIC will be on with us soon to detail the UIC's 5-point pandemic plan, which we are demanding of the government of Jamaica that they roll out immediately to put an end and to stifle the large amount of transmission and viral infection of SARS-CoV-2 being experienced by the Jamaican people. If you have any questions for me until the president gets here, let me know and I'll be happy to answer them. Don Thomas, I see you there. Good afternoon to you too. I see you there on Instagram. Shermack, I see you there. Thanks for being here. And we have a few people tuning in as well as on Twitter. We have people on YouTube as well. So we're happy that we're able to get to the Instagram audience. We're very, very happy about that because our Instagram audience has been asking for the UIC to be more visible on this platform. Okay, so if you guys have any questions for us in regards to the UIC's Walk for Liberty or the UIC's manifesto in regards to defending the rights and the liberties of the Jamaican people. I'll definitely be able to answer those questions until the president comes on. So don't go anywhere. Wait, because what the president is going to be revealing to you is really, really important. A lot of people, they'll come to the UIC, they'll come under our comment sections, and they'll make it seem as if the UIC doesn't care about the fact that there are lives being lost. You know, there are lives being lost due to the virus. There are lives being lost due to crime. There are lives being lost due to hunger. We care about all of these things, right? So for those who come under the UIC's page, some of them are posting images of people who have died from COVID-19. We don't always respond to them and state that we don't like the idea of politicizing the death of people, right? We are aware, we see that people are suffering, people are dying in this pandemic. We do see that, and we believe that the people who have passed away, the people who continue to suffer, they don't have to. There are so many ways available right now, so many options available right now to the people of Jamaica. Medical practitioners in Jamaica right now are putting forward multiple options right now to keep people out of hospitals and to keep people alive. So I see Ralph Ford here, listening from Denmark. Welcome. Mark Naylor, welcome, Mark. We're gonna start soon. Mr. Patterson will be on soon. We see Codian Smickle here from Spanish Town. Welcome. Oh, so okay, what Ralph Ford. That's great. So stay online. Mr. Patterson will be here soon. Yes, Ralph Ford. Yes. I see it's 11:25 where you are in, what is it, in Denmark. So thank you for being here with us. Yeah, so back to the original statement that I was making. We do understand that, you know, there has been immense suffering due to the virus and due to bad policy over the past 18 or so months. But the way that the government of Jamaica has been going about it, we believe is the wrong way. The government of Jamaica has been acting in lockstep with other governments around the world. And we're trying to point this out. We're trying to point this out to the people of Jamaica. And you'll find that when we do so publicly, the media tends to try to spin what we're saying, right? But those who are in tune with the UIC and who engages with conversation with the UIC, and not just the UIC, those who are in tune with the medical professionals, the medical experts all over the world who are hearing both sides of the narrative, you would be aware of this, right? You will be aware of the government's activities surrounding the relationship between them and other governments. When the Jamaican government, for example, the Canadian government or the American government does something, you find that maybe a month, 2 or 3 months later, the government of Jamaica decides that it wants to follow suit. I see Codian is saying something here. They're saying there is no legal framework which a citizen can take to protect against forced vaccination and government and private sector. Is that a fact? Codian, we're not sure about that. We're not sure about that. That's something that the UIC is looking into, and the UIC is definitely reaching out to lawyers in Jamaica to see if we could actually dissect and delve into this case to find out how best we can protect Jamaican workers. So Mr. Patterson is here, so I'm going to give you a quick introduction before he jumps on. This live stream is up because Mr. Patterson will be introducing you, making a public announcement, the UIC's 5-point pandemic plan for Jamaica, which we are asking the government of Jamaica, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, to roll out immediately to protect lives in Jamaica and to reduce the already strained, the impact to the already strained healthcare system in Jamaica. Mr. Patterson.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. Today, I want to share with you something very, very important that I think all Jamaicans will want to pay close attention to. As you might know, Jamaica has been in a very serious situation for almost 2 years now. As President of the United Independence Congress of Jamaica, it is my duty to not only critique the government and opposition, but to also offer solutions, especially at this time. The following is the UIC's 5-point pandemic response plan to be rolled out immediately by the Government of Jamaica to save lives, reduce the stress on our healthcare system, and begin a real grassroots economic recovery that lifts up the small men and women of this country. Number one, we want the government to close all borders to non-Jamaicans and non-permanent residents, while compensating tourist industry workers for lost wages. This action will reduce incoming transmission of the virus by us only accepting Jamaicans and permanent residents of Jamaica into the country. This will reduce stress on the historically deplorable and oversubscribed public healthcare system. This action will also lead to real economic recovery in the shortest possible time. Action number two, we want the government to remove all unnecessary restrictions, duties, and taxes on pharmaceutical imports and to allow doctors full access to all treatment options. This action will give Jamaicans access to all available treatment options. This action will save many lives, as we would no longer be dependent on one solution. This action will keep more Jamaicans out of the hospitals and ease the burden on an already weak healthcare system. Number three, we want the government to remove all restrictions on freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and freedom of choice, while focusing instead on educating and empowering citizens to make good health and safety choices. This action will accelerate economic recovery and reverse the increased levels of poverty. Students will be back in the classroom immediately and begin their recovery from the near 2-year decline in their education. This action will stop the accelerated social decline that we have seen in such areas as child abuse, child pregnancies, excessive societal stress, anxiety, mental health disorders, domestic and gang violence, joblessness, business losses, hopelessness, increased divorces, and suicides. Action number four, we want the government to convene a public emergency council, something we advised the government on from the very beginning of this pandemic. This public emergency council, PEC for short, or PEC, will ensure an objective, transparent, and inclusive non-partisan response going forward. PEC will include representatives from all registered political parties, from the public and private sector, and from leading civil society groups. PEC will be led by the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health and Wellness, but guided by the objective, transparent, and inclusive governance of the Council. PEC will be privy to any and all information surrounding the pandemic and any and all agreements reached between the government and any third parties, foreign or local, in order to protect the interest of all Jamaicans. Finally, action number 5. The government will authorize, through legislation, the invoking of the judiciary, the Auditor General's and the Contractor General's office to audit, monitor, and validate all actions of the PEC and the government to ensure they are in keeping with the agreed upon terms of reference and that all reporting to the public are accurate, complete, and timely. These 5 pandemic response plan points are being put forward by the UIC to immediately correct and reverse the unfortunate policies of the government and restore some semblance of normalcy to the lives of Jamaicans and bring this pandemic under control. Please know that the UIC will not stop until every single citizen is safe and free to go about the business of rebuilding their lives and businesses. It is of vital importance that the government acts swiftly on these 5 points. First of all, close all borders to non-Jamaicans and non-residents, while compensating tourist industry workers for obvious lost wages. Second, remove all unnecessary restrictions, duties, and taxes on pharmaceutical imports and allow doctors full access to all treatment options. Third, remove all government restrictions on freedom of speech, freedom of movement, and freedom of choice, while focusing on educating and empowering citizens to make good health and safety choices. 4, convene a public emergency council to ensure an objective, transparent, and inclusive non-partisan response going forward. And finally, authorize or invoke the judiciary, Auditor General's office, the Contractor General's office to audit, monitor, and validate all actions of the PEC and the government to ensure they're in keeping with the agreed upon terms of reference and that all reporting to the public are actually accurate, complete, and timely. These measures will build confidence in the government, will build trust, and will allow Jamaicans to once again, or for the first time ever, be able to truly depend on its government to serve its interest. Once again, my name is Joseph Patterson, and I'm the President of the United Independence Congress. I wish you all very well. I encourage all of you to be safe, to pay attention to every possible means that you can use to keep yourself and your family safe. And I pray that and allow Jamaicans to all medical options at this very important time in our history. Thank you and have a good evening.